Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe down below. But today I'm going to be doing something a little bit differently that I don't usually do on my channel, and today we're going to be reading creepy Reddit stories. I'm really into that stuff, like paranormal, true crime, missing persons cases. And the first one night, my neighbors and I were out on a pontoon sharing stories about the area and our homes. Our houses were on a stretch of land bought out by professionals in Detroit and Minneapolis who decided to all build vacation homes together. My relatives' houses was built by a doctor from Detroit. One night after the family had finished supper, the mother couldn't find their youngest daughter. They sent out a search party and found nothing. 2 nights later, they found her body washed up on the nearby Indian reservation island. The kicker was that the island was upstream from the house. Almost everyone who lived on our street had claimed to see her. This 4-year-old in a long petticoat, wandering down the street. One woman claimed to see her trying to open up our front door. I had a healthy fear of a few parts of the house. There was a dumbwaiter that had been sealed up and later opened up and turned into a laundry chute. Once my cousin looked down, jokingly during a midnight game of hide and seek, and saw a face looking up at her. There was a back bedroom that was originally servant quarters. We turned it into a guest room, and nobody liked to sleep there. We had a cable installed in every room, and in that room the channel would switch every half hour to static and then back again. Everyone the cable company sent out was equally baffled. One of them joked that our house was marked as haunted on the service notes. Eventually, we just took the television out of the room. The weirdest thing was in my bedroom. In the late 1990s, my relative bought the home from the daughter of the family who had lived there for the previous 50-odd years. Her uncle was schizophrenic, and in the 1970s he lived in my room. When my relative moved in, she had the cedar paneling in the closets removed and replaced. When the old paneling was removed, it was covered in newspapers clippings. Mostly local, some national, all featuring disappearances and murders, and some interviews with celebrities and photographs of celebrities. We assumed this was normal, a form of insulation or prep for paneling. But of course, not in this weird-ass house. It turns out that collage was once an art therapy favourite for schizophrenia and other disorders, and the uncle was encouraged to paste pictures of the closet walls, but not on his bedroom walls, which to this day featured wallpapers installed in the 1920s. When a piece of the wallpaper started peeling, my relative had her handyman paste it back up. In order to make it look clean, he peeled it off further to reapply it. Underneath the wallpaper strip was writing, a lot of it. Things that make sense when associated with schizophrenia, but terrifying otherwise. Get out, they can hear me, etc. I was understandably terrified of it in combination with the cheer episode in my first comment. There was also lots of hidden nooks and crannies. Corner of my closet slid out to reveal a hiding spot. There was a tiny door in the kitchen that led to absolute nothing. We turned it into a pantry, but once we put shelving in the door, we couldn't open anymore. We sealed it with caulk and paint and ignored it. The garage in the backyard had a cellar below that had concrete poured in sometime during the 1950s. The dogs would stand near the cellar door and bark if the garage door was open to them. This is as much as I can remember right now. I hope you feel as creeped out as I do when I think of that house. Well, obviously that house is a bit creepy. I would never have the courage to live there by myself. I even get spooked out when I'm here in my house by myself. It's not even haunted. I don't think it is, but even though it's really old. Okay, this next story, I'm gonna read it with you guys. About 10 years ago, I was at a relative's house, a cottage in a small Michigan coastal town, for my summer vacation. She was almost completely deaf. Without hearing aids, she was completely deaf. Because of her impairment, she had a security system that flashed lights and called her home phone, which also had a light, in addition to a sound alarm. This is important later. I had gone out to see the 4th of July carnival and arrived home at 11. My relative went to sleep at 8 every night at the latest. When I came in, I turned off the alarm and turned it back on again, like I did every time I came home late. I poured myself a glass of water and walked upstairs. Upstairs, there was a long hallway. At the end of it was a door to a patio overlooking the backyard. We never used it because it wasn't up to code. The house was built in the late 1800s, and many aspects weren't worth the money it would cost to fix them. So there was a decorative antique chair that was propped up against the door to the back patio. When I walked in that night, the chair was propped against my bedroom door instead, leaning underneath the doorknob as if to keep someone from exiting. I bolted for my relative's room to find her fast asleep. Her guard dog was also asleep. I woke my relative up and she put in her hearing aids. She called the alarm company and they had no record of anything besides her setting the alarm at 6:30 and my entrance at 11. They called the police anyway. When the cops arrived, they moved the chair and attempted to open my bedroom door. It was locked. The doorknob was original to the house and there was no key for it. So the cops and I walked out on the front balcony and used my key to open the sliding doors. Everything was as it should have been. and when we opened the door from the inside, it wasn't even locked. The cops searched the entire house and found nobody, and nothing was missing. I have no idea why there was a chair barricading my bedroom door, and why it appeared locked when the lock wasn't even turned. The police sent for a fingerprint kit, and they found no fingerprints on the chair, not even my relatives. Nobody knew why. I had trouble sleeping in that room after that. The police kept an undercover cop outside for a week since my relative was a beloved member of the community. Nothing fishy happened. A few other creepy things happened in that home, if anyone is interested. That's creepy. I mean, the door was locked and there was even no lock for it, so like, what could that mean? Okay guys, this is gonna be the last story I read to you guys, and this happened about 6 years ago. A couple of friends and I decided to go out into the woods and build a base camp. We brought axes, pets, fuel, and a tent. We walked deep into the woods and spent all day cutting down trees and building a makeshift fence. Being idiots, as it became dark, we realized we had no way to see. We started a fire, and I realized if we pour some fuel into a small can, we can light the fumes at the top and create a torch. We made several torches and placed them in the surrounding woods. It got very dark. We needed more logs for the fire, so I was out about 20 meters from our camp. I could hear my friends talking. I saw swinging at the tree when I felt something hit my back. I froze and turned out around, staring into the dark forest, right at the edge of the lights from our torches. I saw nothing, and I assumed something had fallen off the tree and hit my shoulder. Right as I was about to swing, something hits me in the back of the head, and it hurt enough to make me swing around again. I saw a rock on my feet, and I was terrified now. Turning back to walk towards the camp, I could hear my friends and see the light from the fire. I kept turning my head, looking into the darkness. About halfway to camp, a rock flew by me, missing my head by inches. I ran back to camp and told everyone, and they saw the terror in my face. We sat for a while before more rocks came. We couldn't see anyone or anything, just rocks flying into camp. Needless to say, we didn't sleep, just chilled in the tent holding machetes and keeping a big fire. There were so many rocks in the morning, the thought still terrifies me. We were deep in the woods, no one else should have been out there. I want to say it was a person, but we didn't hear anything or see anything. And then there's an edit. Well, thanks for taking so much interest in my story. Just to clarify, there were no cliffs of any sort. We were rural Saskatchewan in Canada. I would love to say it was Bigfoot, but the forest was silent. If it was Bigfoot, then he's lying on his feet. All you could hear was the rocks hitting the ground. The thought of laying there, hearing these still freaks me out. There should have been no people around. We were really deep in the forest. We were far away from any kind of town settlement, almost in a nature reserve. Walking back to my friends, I felt like the whole forest was watching me. I hate when you're like alone and like you feel like you're being watched by everything that is around you. That's probably like the worst feeling ever. Like when I'm home alone and I'm watching like paranormal videos, I feel so creeped out. Even in my own bedroom, if the door is locked, I still feel so creeped out. Walking back to my friends, I felt like the whole forest was watching me. Haunting feeling to be so vulnerable and trying to keep it together while wondering if you're crazy or if you're really in danger. There was a lot of rocks in the morning, well over 100, ranging in sizes. Okay, that was a bit weird. Like, he went out about 20 meters from where his friends were and someone kept throwing rocks at him, and there was he said that he was deep into the forest, so it couldn't have been his friends because they were back there. So what could it have been? Leave it down in the comment section below, and if you guys liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and comment down any video ideas or suggestions. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Goodbye.